Buy, BBY, Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS, among others. So lots of retail favorites on Watch Tomorrow Morning, guys.
Adara, appreciate that, Adara. I was trying to short Tesla here, already got stopped out. This is so strong. Bounced off the closing print from yesterday at 352.50. So I'm going to look to get back in at 354 and a third, 354 and a quarter. That's where VWAP is, and it's putting in a holding pattern at that level. I'm still kind of biased to the short side over here, so I'm going to look to get in at a bit of a better price, the 354 and a quarter to 354.50. A bit of a tight range right now between where VWAP is at 354.40 and that 352 and 2/3, which is the closing print from Friday. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Definitely looking at getting back into this monster over here. Would like to take this down. But we did do a 20,900 defend. So we're putting incrementally higher lows and higher highs on the NQ December contract with VWAP rejecting for now. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm actually over here looking at Meta and Google. I mentioned to you this, I mentioned Google to you, but one thing that I want to point out here on Meta, and this thing needs a leveraged ETF or something. Same with Netflix, so we can get in on this thing with a little bit cheaper of a price. But guys, I'm just gonna point one thing out. If anybody else recognizes it, again, I sound like a broken record over and over again, but these signals continuously print, and print. You'll see them consistently. They happen multiple times a week, a day, whatever the price action may be. But guys, you know what I'm gonna look at? We have a really strong opening drive on Meta. And then sure enough, at an extreme, when the overall market is selling, you put in this inverted hammer, this gravestone, whatever you would like to call it, a hanging man, whatever you would like to call it. And then sure enough, it sells, all right? So these are the type of signals that I'm going to be keeping an eye out always, because those are my reversal signals. If I'm not trading at VWAP, I'm gonna wait for an indecision print at an extreme high or an extreme low. And it's unfortunate that this thing is a little bit out of my price range to trade. But again, Meta on that short, it was really, really nice. I like that there. And then I was looking at Google as well too here, guys. For a potential flat bottom break, as Sharif would like to call it. But I don't know if it's going to happen because this thing is pretty strong. Let's see if these support levels can hold. If a candle opens up below the support levels, then that might get me interested for a short. But again, I don't necessarily always want to be shorting these mega cap tech stocks because they can catch a bid at any minute and then some volume can get in. Some people would say, hey, Joe, that looks like a bear flag to me. Sure, I mean, whatever you want to call it, let's play the price action as it plays out. But again, we hold these levels, we can continue. As you can see, we're kind of forming lower highs here on the descent, but then we have this definitive support level, all right? So let's see where the volume steps in, either to the downside or to the top side. But I think a potential break can be in the midst with Google. But I just want to point one thing out here as well, too, guys, on my IBIT trade. Why did I take IBIT at the bottom? Am I catching a falling knife? I don't know, maybe, but look at the price action. What do we have at an extreme low? It sold off for the first half an hour of the session or so, even more, and then put in this indecision candle, this hammer doji at an extreme low. This can signify, hey, we might be ready to turn around. Guys, we did the VPA lesson 2 weeks ago. Keep that in mind. Go back and watch it and understand these signals or start doing some research on your own because they are so key to learning how to pick tops and bottoms if that's the type of your trader you're looking to be, because now you can correlate the volume with the price, and then sure enough, you can build a playbook off of this. And I only have so many trades in my playbook, right? I don't want to have this vast playbook. I like to trade at VWAP, and I like to trade these extreme signals, all right? And gap fills. That's it. That's what I stick to. That's my focus, and I try to execute those as best as I can and then make as much as I can when I am executing those trades, my guy. What are you cooking up there?
I like it, man. We're still in this Tesla trade. It took a couple of beak weters still, and I've got another order to add at 354 because it's been ranging for a hot minute. But even if the fact that it's ranging is one thing, but we're not really getting it's hard for me to discern a trend. So if there's obviously a sideways movement here. I'm trying to gauge whether the bears or bulls are in control at this level. It's kind of really hard to tell. So there we go. Now we're really flushing. Okay, so we just got a couple of prints there. Still a little bit upset, Joseph, because I didn't get my ad at 354, despite the fact that there was multiple opportunities to get that ad. Good look right now on Tesla.
But I like the top of the. I like how you grab the top of the range.
Yeah,
there,
I really tried.
Yeah.
So we'll look to do a little bit better. How many outs? We've got a few outs over here. So let's set up another out south of 353. We'll look to take it, in the mid 90s or something like that to account for possible liquidity grab on Tesla right now. So here we go, zigging and zagging with that 20 penny area. However, we're getting a 20,900 defend on the fuge. So that works against my position. If your opinion or if your bias is that, Tesla marches to the beat of the drum of the overall market, doesn't always work that way. Certainly, anybody who's traded Tesla before knows it has more of an independent twist to it, but sometimes they do run together, and that's when you get in trouble trying to go against the market. So that's what we're wetting our beak for right now on the short. We're short at 52s. I was able to cover into 53s. We still have a few more outs, looking for this one to bleed a little bit more. And as I see it, it's been about 15 minutes since we touched VWAP. The last time we actually got into the volume weighted average price on TSLA was 11:30. So we're going on 18 minutes now of no touches. Here we go with 53s again. Let's see if we're able to break the whole dollar level. I'm waiting in the mid 90s, so I should be able to get the print if we actually just drop below 53s. It looks like somebody's buying at 53s. We'll have to pack our patience there. Let's look for Snapchat, over here. Very consolidative, unusually consolidative. I didn't think that they would hold so long at VWAP. We're unable to get a 98 print. The best we could do so far was 96s. It did work its way up to 97, but we did not have an order in and around there. And bang! Down into Tesla we go. We're almost $1 in the money on this one, Joseph. Let's set up in the mid 50s over here. Boom! We just got that quickly. But look at that. Look at that. It just moves right back up super quick. So the Cybertruck really moving here. Well, both to the upside and the downside, but mostly to the downside. We got the print at 70s. We're still waiting for the print in the mid 50s for that dollar winner. We're going to have to pack our patience here on the Cybertruck. It's now flat on the day, 0.08, and it looks like somebody's buying at around 2/3 to 3/4 of a dollar area because it's unable to descend below that. So TSLA certainly on watch, but stuck within a range. So that's what I'm trading it as right now. I'm not trading it as a breakout or a breakdown, but simply as a range between the closing print on Friday and the volume weighted average price. That's my look right now. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, good stuff here. I just got out of my NVDA trade. It stopped me out break even. We got some partials off on that one, so it's pretty nice. It rejected VWAP and then decided to move to the south side. So keep that in mind. So again, we got that move. We got the range break there. Let's see if we can hold that was once resistance is now support. So if we can hold support, we don't get that selling pressure to step in, then I do think that we can rebound and potentially curl around and then go back to the top side, all right? Keep that in mind, guys. It's a possibility. I think it's almost due. I mean, the market can stay irrational for a lot longer. But I mean, I think at some point this stock is going to bounce. You just have to be able to keep yourself in a position where you're able to take advantage of that, all right? So we got out of that now. No reason to make a winning trade, a losing trade. And then now we can wait to see if we're going to turn back around. If volume steps into the top side, then we get back into that position. But as of right now, we are pulling back. We rejected VWAP. I mentioned the candle above it. So keep that in mind. We are starting to pull back now, but there can always be another opportunity. And speaking of opportunities, IBIT, what are we doing? I don't know. We're saying we're pulling back on a lot of things right now, and Google is starting to reach the bottom of that range again that I mentioned, where volume decides to step in and it breaks that prior support level, then I think there can be a potential leg down on that one. So if the mag caps are selling, look for the overall index, and chances are it's going to be selling as well too. But other than that, we're going to keep our eye on Google and IBIT to see if we can continue, as well as NVDA. But let's take a look at the Qs here, guys. I mean, still a little shy off of that all-time high, not like the SPY. The SPY touched all-time highs today. Perfect. Just around 600, I think. Let's see, let's get an exact number, 601-ish, yeah, 601.03, and then it started to sell off. So we did make a new all-time high on the SPY, but then it by just a couple cents, but then it did reject, all right, guys? So keep that in mind. We'll keep an eye on the overall indexes. I know indices, I guess, or whatever you would like to call it, but I know Adara mentioned XLF, and I had a JPM trade that I really liked, and it gapped up again, but from a sector standpoint, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Sell puts against this thing as much as you can. This is something you would want to own for the long term, these sector ETFs. But again, a little red on the session with XLF. Sharif, what do you got going on there?
I'm looking at KULR, but I just got my ad on Tesla. So now we're short 82. So now I've got to wet my beak possibly here and set up new stops. So we're going to go. I just have to throw it to you to adjust my stop.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for
absolutely.
One quick
Yeah, no
with
problem,
one,
guys.
yeah.
So let's take a gander at Google. As you can see, we do have this this definitive level of support, and then we do have the higher lows, or sorry, the lower highs there, guys. But again, keep in mind, if volume steps into one side, I'm gonna look to play this. We have this price compression that I really, really like, and then when the volume steps in, it can give you a definitive direction in which way this stock can potentially move. Yes, there can be potential fake outs on these types of patterns, but keep in mind, when it really steps in, you'll be able to identify the fake out, price reverses whatever direction it's going, and then that volume steps in, and then you can base yourself a scalp trade or a trend continuation trade on this one. So let's see what Google is up to for the foreseeable future, the next couple of minutes, if it decides to chop around a little bit more, or we get that volume influx, guys. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind. RKLB, someone mentioned in the chat. Let's take a look at RKLB, Rocket Lab. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. West, y'all. Yeah, I know you like Rocket Lab. I know this is your stock. Yeah, congratulations on that one. I know I don't know if you said you had any calls on it or anything like that, but again, we're getting the volume on the breakout. We did have this potential turnaround signal. It blew past it. Thesis invalid. Fine. But guess what we're getting now? I really like this signal. We're extremely extended to the top side. Let's see how this print finishes at the end of the day. But I do think for the foreseeable future, and guys, hold me accountable, I do think that Rocket Labs, from seeing what I'm seeing right now, has a potential turnaround in the coming days, my friend. Show me what you got going.
Yes, so we're doing well, man. We're like 50 pennies in the money over here on the ad. Added at 354. Really happy with this trade. Fat finger, too, just to add icing to the cake, baby. So we're still doing well, even with the fat finger over here. All right, here we go. We're short. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
What happened, bro?
I went long on it. I'm acting stupid today. I'm not really looking at my position sizing, so I had to flatten out there. All right, so bad execution, good idea. In any event, I'm gonna try to regroup over here, keep my eye on Snapchat, because that's the one I've got right now. Did dip into 1190. So now I'm asking myself, if this is gonna hold on to 1190 for a hot minute, why am I not adding at this level and then just playing the range? Because I'm not getting the breakout on Snapchat. So if it's gonna respect 1188, 1190, or wherever the hell people are buying this, I should be adding here and just trading it as a range, and then keeping a tight stop below 85s or 84s. 1185s, 1184s is what I'm talking about on Snap, because it's not giving me the breakout. So I think I'm going to account for that. I'm going to set up a dip trade at 88s to do just that. So we'll look to do that in a second. I wanted to talk though about the one that I like going up right now in Mag 7 world. It goes by the name Amazon. Ooh. Amazon's got a nice little upward channel here that we could basically gauge from the pre-market. And aside from this opening range where we have a lot of volume taking place, it's been very respectful of this upward channel, both as a level of support and resistance. I hope you guys can see that on my chart. Let me make these lines a bit thicker over here so that everybody can kind of get the idea of what I'm trying to show. An upward channel right now on AMZN. And it's been, for the most part, respectful, aside, again, from this pop up there into 201.95, which is essentially the high of the day. Comes right back down and reinstates, well, not reinstates, but just starts re-respecting the channel that we had put it into. So what I want to see is if we get a 201 break, because it doesn't look like we're going to get it quite yet, if it is to reject off this upward channel. So I could play the range on Microsoft, but here's the thing. So if you've got an upward channel, let me put this to the chat. I really want to hear what they have to say. If you have an upward channel and you know that it's been respecting the up band and the low band, which trade do you choose? Do you trade the short off the top band or the long off the bottom, the bottom band? And here's why I'm asking that. Because I think that there is not just one right answer. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think that there's one better answer than the other. If something's up 1.85%, why would you want to take the short and kind of put the trend against you rather than taking the long off the bottom end? Here's what I mean, Ram. So if we're kind of looking at these two lines right here, from which Amazon has been very respectful, the question I'm asking is, do you take the short off the top trend line or do you take the long off the bottom trend line? I personally want to take the long off that 200 possibly because it's up 1.9%. So I don't want to be sitting here trying to short it and then get the breakout trade through the top end of the channel and then I'm stopped out. I'd rather go with the trend and wait till it weasels down into around 200. Now, you may not get that because, again, it's trending up, so we could get the breakout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that 200 possible bounce on AMZ and look for the long there. Let's see what people have to say. I kind of do both, says Jay. I have been long and short 10 times on SMCI for a $1 winner each time via SMCX. Shout out to you, Jay. I know you're printing up a storm on that. Let's see what other people said. New York City Urbanisa, she says long. I agree. I agree with you. Jason, long with the trend. Taxman, long. Come on sense, long off the top. Miss Lucia, long. Brad Dietz, long. ACK. I know, well, yeah, I know. Come on sense, I like that. Good pickup, Ram. Everybody is basically kind of saying the way that I thought you guys would say. Is go with the trend. If you have a respectful channel, use it, but use it in the direction that it's going. It's pointing up. It's not pointing down. So great. I like that. Okay, so that's a good look there. So we'll look to basically weasel in at 200 on Amazon or thereabouts. I mean, it may not be 200 on the dot because by the time it makes it down there, it could be a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alert for Amazon. Let's just put it at around 25s, that $0.25. So we'll be made, we'll have about 25 pennies advance notice, if that even. So I wanted to mention AAPL started the day awfully strong. It is now awfully weak. Look at this. The bleeding continues here on Apple, 233.25 HOD, and there has been no respect for any of these moving averages or VWAP. It's kind of been dancing and moving to the beat of its own drum. If the only area that I can really see price action support was this 231.75. It was an area crest at around 850 in the pre-market. We dipped down. We held that level. We moved back up above VWAP, but just ended up breaking it again. So AAPL not really respecting trend. Possible long though on Apple at 230. I think it's been kind of using 230 as a level of resistance lately until this day over here, until today when we decidedly broke it above. So Apple, even though it looked dead, look at this upward trend, upward channel that we've been putting on Apple on the daily. 230, I'm looking long here on Apple if it does work down there. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at Google. We are potentially about to break some support here that I mentioned. So we have the flat bottom break potentially coming up here on Google.
Holy.
So let's see if that volume starts. See, there we go, bang, and it's starting to move to the downside there. Flat bottom break. I'm not in it quite yet, Sharif.
My bad.
But we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see because it could be a potential fake out. I really want to see that momentum kick in, that volume step in, especially if we're gonna break these levels. But we're gonna come back and take some more of a look at Google right after we get back from Madeira.
What we're going to do here is take a look and see what the market's done so far today. We do have here on the S&P 500 and the Q's looking pretty similarly. They both ran up right off the open, then fell to the downside. The Q's actually in a bit of a range here since that push down here off the open. 507 is about the base, top here about 508, but slightly lower highs for the Qs, while the SPY is a little bit more consolidative, pushing lower here after that move to the downside. The initial enthusiasm in the market was attributed in part to the decision of President-elect Trump to choose Scott Bessent as Treasury Secretary, or at least that's his planned nomination there. As a hedge fund manager, Scott Bessent is viewed as a positive choice for the market as Treasury Secretary. So we'll see how all this unfolds, but lots of moves in the markets. A lot of stocks look a little bit like this. We had Snowflake pushing nicely up here off the open, rejecting the previous day's high here at 178 before pushing lower. Snowflake and Palantir were both nicely pushing to the upside on positive analyst notes from Wedbush, with Wedbush analyst Dan Ives actually upgrading the software sector as a whole thanks to AI positivity. We also have Sava on watch here, SAVA. This is Cassava Sciences. They actually had top line phase 3 data that did not meet its endpoints with regards to its Alzheimer's treatment study. They've now paused the study indefinitely, halted the study. And it's actually interesting enough, Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli had actually been saying to short Sava previously. Then this news comes out. So SAVA down about 83% right now, guys, currently trading around that $4.30 mark. Make sure to vote for your tickers of choice. I believe SAVA as an option there. It is in the poll. You have 4 options until 12:30 p.m., at which point we will have a new poll that gives you 4 more options. The top 5 tickers out of these 8, the 5 that gets the most votes, will be covered on the rundown segment at 2 p.m. with Neil and Obi. So make sure to check that out. In the meantime, speaking of Neil, he's going to be giving us his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much there, Adara. What do the New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, and Dallas Cowboys all have in common? Well, I'll tell you what they don't have in common. They don't have a plan. And when you don't have a plan of action, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. If you don't have a plan, you can't stick to the plan. And if you can't stick to the plan in this game, the trading game, then you are just gambling out there, which is exactly what those teams do. They gamble at whatever nonsense they happen to be doing is going to somehow work out for them, and then everything will be fine. Now, in the NFL, you can be trash and still make piles of money. In trading, you can't actually do that. So it requires that you have a plan. So the simple lesson today is, what do I mean by that? So I'm just going to walk you through the majority of my trade. I won't go through every single one of them, but we'll just go through a few to give you an idea of a plan. It all starts with, what are you trading and why? Where do you want to get in? What is your execution reason for getting in? Where are you wrong? And do you have any profit targets or reason to get out? So I'm going to start with SMCI.
O S3, bem resumido, bem direto, tá? Não vou ficar dando aula, não, porque tem aí a price action, ação do preço, tem e tem os treinamentos, né, que a gente faz. Então, E é no meio do meu trabalho, tá? No meio do trabalho e tal, por isso que às vezes eu demoro para estar respondendo e falando aqui, tá? Então é o seguinte, Quanto roda aqui, deixa eu deixar rodando aqui uma parada aqui. Olha, o Bitcoin, ele segurou, ele tá tendo dificuldade de passar a região de 99, tá? Bateu pertinho 99, não quer bater no 100. Ele tá querendo, ele tá com charminho, tá? Faltou pouco para bater no 100, agora tá caindo, 95, tá? Mas é questão de tempo. Ele pode ter chegado também e fazer um charme e só quebrar isso daí o mês que vem, tá? Mas tá aqui, ó. Tá bem. A gente acompanha 80, acompanha 90. Na verdade, tô acompanhando há muito tempo, né? Então, quem tá, quem não tá, é isso aí. Agora tá meio bem esticadão, né? Ó, Bitcoin tá bem esticadão, tá? Agora eu esperaria cair aí, voltar para os 65 e tal. Tá vendo aqui, ó, depois dessa esticação toda? Então o Bitcoin tá nessa agora, tá retraído. Tá vendo a boa caída? O S30 subindo, igual o louquinho também, continua subindo, recuperando, tá? Tendência de alta a longo prazo, com alguns momentos de pausa. Dólar também, dólar segurou depois de uma grande alta, agora caiu um pouquinho. Isso faz o quê? Faz o euro subir, tá vendo? O euro subir. Quem acompanha aí, quem faz trader, essas coisas, ó, o euro agora segurou a queda, está querendo recuperar um pouquinho, mas vai depender do dólar. O BRL é o processo de subida dele normal, né? Quedas e subs, já está em 5,80 de novo. Chegou lá em 5,89, tá? Bateu, ó, 5,89, 5,90, né? Então, ele está buscando essa esse processo de querer romper os seis, né? É isso aí. Então vamos lá. Então, como eu falei, o dólar, o BRL aí subindo, não tem o que falar. Você não vai comprar BRL a 5,50 de novo, 5,40, tá? Esquece. Quem quer comprar dólar tem que comprar logo, tá? Compra e antes que vire 6, 7. Tá lambendo já o 6 aqui, ó. Tá pertinho do 6, entendeu? O Brasil já era, rapaz. O Brasil já era, com Lula, com o pessoal. O povo, entendeu? O povo é escroto, o povo vota de bandido, ex-presidiário. O povo quer saber só de fudilância, entendeu? De carnaval, de gostosinho, entendeu? Do funk, da sacanagem, entendeu? Da roubalheira. E quem é mais ou menos está querendo só querendo se proteger, se defender, mas não tem como, tá? Toma tiro de todo lado. O brasileiro acostumou a ser roubado, ele até sente falta, tá? É igual eu vejo, às vezes aparece a galera falando de investimento, isso, aquilo. A primeira coisa que o botileiro padrão faz é onde eu pago imposto, quando eu pago imposto, como que eu faço para pagar o imposto? Como que é a declaração? Primeira coisa que o cara pergunta, sabe? Já é uma doutrinação que para ele já ele não vê, ele fica até ansioso se ele não pagou o imposto, tá? Se pagou o imposto para a máfia, né? Para os bandidos. Então ele acha totalmente isso já totalmente normalizado, tá? Então é o gado perfeito, tá? Por isso tudo, qualquer coisa entra e é implantada de forma bem suave, bem manteiguinha no BR, tá? Bem no rabo do BR, do mostileiro, entendeu? Brasil é isso aí, tá? É do mais pobre ao mais rico. Os mais ricos tentam se defender, tal, mas também se estrepa, tá? Se estrepa porque também tem que andar de Ferrari, de carro aí no Brasil, pagando 3, 4 vezes que um cara lá fora paga, entendeu? Também é fudido, tá? Mas é rico fudido, tá? Que eu falo. Porque o rico de verdade, o cara cai fora disso daqui, tá? O cara não aceita pagar um carro de 200, 300, 500 mil reais que lá fora é 50 mil dólares, né? Uma BMW, não é? Só um exemplo. Uma Lamborghini, mesma coisa. Lá fora com pouca grana perto do que o cara tem, né? Com, sei lá, com 200 mil, 100 mil, 200 mil dólares, o cara compra uma Lamborghini lá fora. Aqui é 4 milhões, 5 milhões, para tu ter ideia, né? Então é idiota do rico que fica na bostilagem aqui. Tá? Fora a insegurança, blindagem, o cara não consegue viver direito. Então é isso aí. Mas eu não vou entrar nessa seara porque é selva, tá? O Brasil já é um narco-estado, já é um narco-terrorismo, entendeu? E aí os bandidos que estão lá dominam também. O negócio deles é isso aí, tá? Então, filho, tô olhando aqui umas paradinhas aqui. Então é isso. Bostilagem não tem nada que se aproveita, tá? Então não adianta vir com papel. Até você que fica aí em day trader, em mini índice, mini dólar, tá escravo do governo, pagando 20% de IR, de imposto de renda, preenchendo papelzinho. É uma bestada, tá? E cai fora. Você tem que tirar totalmente seu dinheiro dessa postilagem, entendeu? Totalmente. Você tem dinheiro, cai fora, porque entendeu? Não tem futuro nenhum, não. Se você tá ganhando, esses cara, eu vejo esses caras ganhando 100 no day trade aí de roubalheira do BR, o cara vai ganhar, o cara ganha 500 lá fora, entendeu? Esse monte de escravidão de papelzinho, de imposto, de renda, escambau, isso aí. Entendeu? Escravidão pura, cheio de regra. Paga até ISS para a Prefeitura de São Paulo. É muito socialismo, é muito comunismo essa bostilagem, tá? Entendeu? Então já falei aqui dos gráficos, quem está operando, pega aí no mercado internacional, ó, pega um petróleo, pega um índice americano. O Bitcoin, não quer pegar o Bitcoin que é muito volátil? Pega outra aí, tem tanto, tem o euro, as moedas, entendeu? Você vai pagar o spread fora disso, abre uma conta lá fora, negocia lá fora, faz tudo lá fora, entendeu? Só fica a tua alma e teu espírito aí no gostinho. Só alma e teu espírito, porque o dinheiro, o resto fica tudo lá fora, entendeu? Fora desses juiz ladrão, dessas corrupção, dessa máfia esquerdista, entendeu? Esses vermes, essas sanguessugas, né, que dominam aí o BR, que fazem o BR ser o que ele é e nunca ir para frente, tá? A eterna floresta dominada pela bandidagem, e é alguns que se defende, quem pode ter arma tem, que é só a polícia, entendeu? Ou os que estão no governo, é funcionário, é país de funcionário, é o país de funcionalismo público, tá? Quem é iniciativa privada é abestalhado. Montar empresa no BR é abestalhado, tá? Os que vêm são os grandão. Beleza, já falei de tanto, muito gráfico. Agora vamos ver se a gente reage aí a alguns vídeos bagaceiros da Bostilagem, tá? Tem alguma coisa que você aproveita aqui, ou pra gente meter o pau. Canal bom aqui, ó, para acompanhar o day trader. A Bloomberg também para ficar acompanhando. Você que diariamente, se você vai fazer day trader, é legal acompanhar, tá? Deixa eu ver por aqui. É legal você acompanhar a Bloomberg, né, para ver como é que está o processo, o movimento. Deixa eu rodar aqui. Calma aí que eu já vou ver, já vou falar, já vamos analisar, tá? Vamos analisar algumas bagaceiras aí. Deixa eu ver aqui. Beleza. Então vamos lá. O que que tem aqui? Essa conta minha aqui só tem coisas mais de política, música. Não tem muita coisa de interessante, não. Eu vou encerrar essa live aqui só para fazer esse corte dessa fala que eu meti o pau no BR, e aí eu vou abrir outra, tá? Aí eu abro outra, outro tema, tá? Outro tema. Vamos ver aqui, ó. Outros canais que eu tenho aqui. Outra coisa. Aí vamos falar de outros. Vamos meter o pau em outros caras aí. Aqui é o Japa, né, fala de fofoca, esse cara entra em comédia. Esse é um engraçado. Ele opera direitinho, ele ganha seu dinheirinho, ele estava bastante tempo aí no mercado forex e tal. É um solteirão aí, fica na dele, um japinha, tá bom. Só que ele é meio doidado. Ele cria um canal, um grupo, aí abre live com 15 inscritos só e é só para membro. 15 inscritos. O cara tem 15 inscritos e fecha chat, tá? O cara é meio sem noção, em vez de esperar crescer, gigantão, aí fica com. É uma bolinha, tem uma bolhazinha, né? Esse começou muito assim, metendo pau em opção binária e tal, fazendo tipo um russomano, um golpe, é o que mais tem na internet, né? Então aí cresceu um pouquinho, tá? Mas é uma bestalhada também, tá? É uma bestalhada que fica no dragão, não sei o que lá, e em linha de tendência, e acha que é só isso, tá? E acha que só ele sabe tudo, tá? Que só o negócio dele é essa. Mas o cara é um comédiazinho também. Ó, esse aqui, ó. Aqui é engraçado. É só bestalhado das mulheradas fazendo bestalhada. Também é engraçado esse canal. Aí de política, tá? Política. Homens bons de lábia engano. Ah, a comediagem do BR, né? Comediagem do BR é de todinho, não sei o que lá, de cafezinho, de leitinho, uma hora à esquerda, outra hora à direita. Os caras caçam mídia, caçadores de mídia, né? Olha como é que é engraçado, né? Essa mulher era toda detonada, toda bagaceira, de esquerda, não sei o que lá, escrachada, agora tá toda certinho. Roupinha social, babá, toda bonita. Provavelmente fica querendo o que é um homem conservador, um marido conservador, família, é aquela coisa, se transforma, né? O pessoal é uns camaleão do caramba, né? Brincadeira, né? O povo acredita, né? É fogo, né? O povo cai, né, nessas mudanças. É igual quando vai pra igreja, né? E depois muda rapidinho, tá? Isso aqui é um maluco aqui, vive numa fazenda sozinho, que casa com boneca, é um louco aí, os loucos, né? É isso aí. O revoltado aqui, esse é um revoltado, que mete pau na mulherada e não sei o quê. E mete o pau, mas só fala em mulher. É brincadeira, né? É isso aí. Apelação, tá pra apelação, música, a mulher quase com o peitinho de fora para poder chamar atenção, para o pessoal, o gadaiada clicar. É isso aí, tá vendo? Day trader é sedutor. É, sedutor mesmo. Facinho para perder muito dinheiro. Japão, Globo, bosta e outros canais internacionais esquerdistas. É isso aí. Ó, sempre coloca uma mulher na capa, tá vendo? Isso é tradicional. Põe a mulher na capa para poder bonita chamar atenção. Aí a galera. Aqui é do mundo bonequeiro, os bonequeiros que mete pau também em mulher e faz relação com boneca, com virtual. É só doideira, tá vendo? Ah, os malucos, incentivando sem noção, outros malucão. É só maluco dessa internet, entendeu? Esse aí que só fala dos crimes e tal, da bandidagem. Esse aqui é o velho frustrado, só fala que separou, separou e a vida inteira separou e parece que ele fica preso num ciclo mental. Ah, é doideira. Beleza? Então eu vou cortar isso aqui, vou ferrar e depois a gente abre outro. Um abraço e até o próximo vídeo.